Name's Daniel. Course is Civil Engineering and Transportation, and this is my final year. So originally my background is I was always worked in construction industry. Once I left school, I went to college and did plumbing. And then just got a job generically working on sites doing plumbing, and then decided that I wanted to do something that was a little bit more technical. So the reason I chose this course was I chose initially because I chose to do the HNC. So it was nice because I sort of committed to 2 years to do the HNC without committing to sort of a full-time degree of sort of 5 years. Found that the 2 years that I did with HNC were really enjoyable, and then the transferring over to the degree was, immaculate. When I joined the course, I didn't necessarily know the full extent of civil engineering. I'd heard the term and I'd sort of got a sort of general overview, but I didn't realise to what extent that it goes into. I always look at it from, if you sort of land in the middle of the desert and you had a blank canvas, the first thing you'd need is a civil engineer, because ultimately it's the civil engineer that brings the transport into that city, whether it be roads, whether it be rail, and whether you need tunnels, bridges. That's everything that a civil engineer is going to cover. Whilst being on this course, I know that I've seen that the university works with a lot of partners. I know that they work with sort of Network Rail, for instance, Balfour Beatty, and many a time I've had Paul Hampton or Allah come into class and say, listen, is anyone looking for a job? Because we've got a placement. Because they're working constantly with these partners, it will be the fact that Network Rail or Balfour Beatty will say to Paul Hampton or the university, listen, we're looking for 3 students that we will put on an apprentice. What I've seen from my colleagues, a lot of people have either got jobs before they've started, or they've definitely got a job before they've even finished the degree. I felt like I was an engineer after sort of the first year or so. You initially come in here and you're thinking, do you know what, am I capable? Am I good enough? And then you sort of get feedback from your early assignments and some of your exams. And then I think after I sort of got my results back from the first and second semester, and they were, relatively good, I was like, well, do you know what, I'm not out of my depth here, I'm enjoying it, and yeah, I feel like I can sort of persist. I think coming to university has definitely sort of developed my confidence. I think sort of, you've got a job and you're sort of working in the industry, and I think as you're working in the industry, and if you were sort of a younger aspect, I think sort of maybe some of your colleagues at work might sort of look down at you and you might be a little bit intimidated to ask them questions. But I feel that when you're going to university and you're sort of learning on the job, that it gives you that bit more confidence that when you go to work, you're like, well, do you know what, actually I know the theory behind this. So, someone at work might say, well, this is how we do it. And you're thinking, well, why do we do it like that? Well, actually, I know now because I've learned it at university. So it develops that confidence at uni that you can then sort of take out into the work life.